And, you know, by the time I sat down with a few persons, also after the evening session yesterday, it was clear that a lot of people don't understand the significance of a table. Okay. And it'll be nice you all go and take time to also just do your research as to the role, the decisions that take place at the table, how things have been altered at the table. But but I will leave it to you, and then maybe at some point, if anybody has further, inquiries, we could take that offline. But be rest assured that this also ties into today's topic. And somehow all the principles we're sharing, there's always like a loop. Okay, so it's not that you were guessing because, and I must tell you that it was based on this model. Everything in this book was based and inspired. You know, let me just even say by the sovereign summons of the Holy Spirit, as to hey, this is the progression, this is the trajectory, this is the path. Um, so once you know how to stay at the table, because at the table you're supposed to connect with people. Okay, so once you connect, today is day 18. We're going to be talking about network. That's networking, network. And I'm going to read the quote from by Kiyosaki. It says that the richest people in the world look for and build networks. Everyone else looks for work. You know, so are you one of those saying that I need a job or I need work? You probably are going to start to understand that sometimes um, you need to just understand the role of social capital. And if there's anybody that can speak well on this topic, I think um, I think I should be the one. But I've benefited immensely. All right. Um, and let me see if I can also just to buttress this point. I had a conversation with someone. Um, let me see. I want to quickly bring it up, and you just so that you understand how people already started to study you. So there's this friend of mine. Um, Now you think that she's been my friend for like 10, 10 years. No, you think that she's been my friend for 10 years. So I'm just going to share my screen and then I'll share, you just see the comments so that you also understand that this thing is how it works. Okay. So I barely know how it's less than a year that, but the kind of things that we are doing and we are set to do is not ordinary. All right. But I'll tell you just how it works so that it's not just talking. So I'm sharing my screen and I would like anybody that can see it to just, unmute and just read out something. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you see what was this message? Uh, can
Happy
you read it?
birthday, Kemi.
Yes.
It is a new season. Stay positive and dare
It
great
was
things.
about the bed.
You've got
Okay.
it in you.
All right. It says thanks, Taiwo. Now, this was a very so this is one of the things I also do. I also I'm deliberate about celebrating people that I want to connect with. Right? So I just want to, before I go into the meat of the matter, I just want to show you certain things just so that you know that you can reach anybody you want to reach. And I love the fact that my colleague Ife is here. She can also attest to a few things about, in fact, so let me now show you the message the person sent to me. Let me, this was in August 29th, 2020. Now, she says, this is her message, this is her name, Kemi Ugukoya. She says, so you won't believe this. I was just sending you a voice note when yours came in. Was going through my LinkedIn and I saw we connected last year. As in, how do you do these things? I need to be schooled. Did you get that? Did you guys get that? I barely know her for a year. Now,
yes,
mind, she's also wondering that, no, this cannot be. Are you saying we only connected just last year? Don't you understand? The kind of things that we've done, you would think that we had known each other like for 20 years. And this is also what I talk about the CFI. All right, morning everyone, morning Lucadi. This is what I talk about the CFI. When we start to say consistency, frequency, and intensity. And I'm deliberate. It's not about, and I'll prove everything I'm going to be showing to you so that you know that this thing is tried and tested. It's not somebody, I've told you guys at my session and anything I'll be doing, I'm not one of those guys that will do inspire to inspire or, you will have a lot of sensations out there. I'm telling you practical tips and, results. And the guys that doubt proofs, well, they are fools. Sorry to use that word, but the reality is that this is real. And I'm free to share because I've come through an experience where in life, there was a time I was living my life on not sharing, where I had been exposed to a book, and in that book it was saying, get all you can all you get, and sit on the can. But I realized that I was almost becoming like a Dead Sea. I was only getting things in, but nothing was going out. So I was just becoming dead. The essence of life, and you understand that when we talk about sharing. But in order to recover from that state, I came to an opportunity, a contact with another book called The Eight Habits by Stephen Covey. I haven't read The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And it says that you have a voice. Speak, you have a voice. Share. All right. But today is not about sharing. Today is about networking. And I'm saying that usually your life, you can't live your life by happenstance, on accident, or like just anyhow. You can't. That's why, do you have your journal? Do you know the people you want to connect with? Do you know the people that will take you to your envisioned stage? Excuse me. Are you getting me? I'm saying that I've just given you an example. So I wasn't the one that sent that message. Someone probably, this lady was observing that this man, there's a way that there's something that this guy is doing. It's not just saying happy birthday. It's not just saying, how is he connecting? Because you can connect with anybody at any level. My team, some of my teammates are here, they can tell you there are a couple of people that we don't even know. All I'll just say, just send or go on. And there's a way we take that relationship. We'll mind that relationship to the extent that the things that it starts to deliver, you'll be asking yourself, hey guys, what's going on? Because we're intentional, we're deliberate. All right? Let me talk about one of the other final sessions before we're done. It's called MAD, making a difference. And in a bid to make a difference, you must know who you are going to go and meet. So if, for instance, you want to make a sale, the first question you must ask yourself, is your client mad? MAD is an acronym. So if you want to make a sale, here, is your client mad? That means that, does your client have money? M. Does your client have authority? A. Does your client have desire? Okay, so I pack that somewhere. Now let's go back to issues of network. If you want to network, let me imagine you want to start. You guys were aware when I talked about a business that I needed, to raise about 50 million naira for a business. And one of the things I needed to do was that beyond visualizing, I thought that the easiest route would have been to raise finance through the bank. Okay. But from when we had a session with Adefe, what happened was such that Adefe, the railway guy, said, look, how many people have you even reached? How many doors have you knocked on? And somehow in my inner consciousness, maybe also as a result of visualizing, because sometimes when you visualize and you affirm, you probably don't get the insights at that point. You just need more, two or more insights to come in, and it starts to work because you now start thinking. And you remember, thinking is grinding information. So as I started to think that evening after that session, some thoughts came and said, you know what? Who are those that require what you want the money for? All right. And immediately I identified a few people. Something said, don't send to all, just send a message to one person. All right. And by the time I was done sending that message, the next morning the person had responded. Why? Not that I didn't just send a sporadic message, I didn't send to all. It was also thought through, it was intentional. And then, as you make a step, the elements conspire to favor you. And I am deliberate about the choice of words, just so that you understand that when you take steps, that's when things move, not before you take a step. The moment you take a step, because in life, it's all about energy, it's all about, interrelatedness. You find out that as you move forward, you've changed the situation. So networking is something that we all must embrace, because after you've learned how to stay at the table, how do you sustain? And remember, in this third module of the reinvention drive, we are really talking about principles, but there are soft skills that will ensure that you can reinvent continuously and sustain the reinvention drive. Because a lot of people are used to focus, they're used to order, they're used to optimism, they're used to discipline, they're used to synergy. Then maybe you want to talk about taking decisions, mindset. Those things are things that we're usually familiar with. But sometimes we find out that when we start these things, can we sustain them? And how do we not get frustrated doing them? That's why we start to, unveil some of these things, that you need to up your energy level. You also need to change your diet. Okay. We ask that, okay, can you even, understand the table, that at the table, all right, there's time, there's awareness, there are blessings, there are learnings, all right, there's exposure. That's table. But now, today, we're talking about networking, because you progress from that table to the point where you now have to nurture these relationships. And as you nurture those relationships, they call it a network. So imagine a net that catches fish. What does that net do? A net that catches fish. The net, what ultimately it does is that it brings the fish into the net. All right. The role of the fisherman is to remove the fish so that it doesn't get tangled in the net. So the fisherman takes one fish, one piece at a time from the nets. That's how you also take those connections and relationships. You sit down, for instance, you go into a conference, you sit down, you pick up the cards you've gone through, you do a profile, you profile these individuals that you met at an event. You will now sort those cards. Okay, is this for today? Is this for the future? Is this for later? Or do I keep this in view? You must be deliberate about how you sort. Just like the fisherman would in the net, in networking, in that net, for that net to work and for him to be able to also advance, sell, and be able to, make progress. What he will do is he will sort the fish. Do you have your contacts sorted on your phone? Or how do you sort your contacts? Who do you know to call, when to call? So I'm going to talk about something that is a model I came up with. And I'll quickly talk about that model, but at some point I will expatiate on that model. And that model, I call it prosrymetrics. But that model is a science about space, about people. But prosrymetrics is not just about space. I also have, based on my faith, I also have a spiritual reference for prosrymetrics. Right? So there's a science of proximity, of how people should. So it's called prosrymetrics. You can research about that. that people should be around 2 meters. But I've now taken it to the point where it can be action. And I looked for a reference. And, one of my greatest role model, in fact, my greatest role model, and my master is Jesus Christ. Okay. And I have no apologies about that. You can have your own model. It's my own role model. So don't let's not argue. But let's even now talk about some of the things I learned about prosymmetrics and the master's model as to association and building networks. Okay, so he had 12 disciples. So let's start with the 12 disciples. The choice of the 12 disciples was very intentional and deliberate. There was an accountant, that's a financial coach or a financial advisor. So today we're going to be having a financial advisor. Yeah, treasurer, financial advisor. There was a physician. He had amongst his ministry a doctor. There were people that were juggernauts in business, traders, uh, entrepreneurs, fishermen. He also saw. So you imagine that he didn't go and bring all the, you see, and that's some of the mistakes we make. When you also are creating your cluster. So let me quickly work on this so that you understand, and then you can also breathe on it. So the first level in prosymmetrics, there's the intimate level. The second level is the personal level. The third level is the social level. The fourth level is the public level. And I also think, and thank God, I think I just saw the general coming now. And I'm sure that's also how they do formations of battalions and all that. But let me share this model, and you please listen. So in the intimate circle is not anyone that you're having anything intimate with. Is the intimate circle are like your carcass, your close, someone you can go to, confide with, talk to, expose yourself in any way, and they will give you sound counsel. That's the intimate circle. The intimate circle, using the master's model, is that out of the 12 people you think, because I'm believing that at the end of this session, you should even pencil down 12 persons along 3 lines. 12 persons along 3 lines, along your personal life. All right, personal includes your family, your children, your anything that is personal to you. Identify 12 individuals that you are currently in touch with, because you want to start to be deliberate about your relationships. There's a science to everything. You will now identify those 12. That's for personal. Identify 12 when it comes to career and business and profits. Then the third one is identifying 12 people along the lines of purpose. Whether you met them, you want to meet them, you want to connect with them. So in identifying those 12, there will be 3 that fall into the category of your intimate circle. And they're usually between 2 to 3. And so, like my model, and using my role model, he had those 3 persons that were, anywhere it was going, the others will still be playing. It will go with these 3. And if there was any disappointment, it will be a disappointment about these 3, not about the all. Okay, so that's the intimate circle. I will not overwork that. The personal circle is within the 12, usually 10 to 12 persons. But note that in that personal circle, there's a doubter. It could be a Thomas. So even the master had a doubter in his midst. So you don't need to get cantankerous over or angry that you have somebody doubting you. Don't worry, only fools doubt proves. After some time, they'll come to it. The other thing is that there was also a Judas in the 12. Okay, so that means that I'm not saying that. See, in that your 10 to 12, in your that company, even though you are relating with, there will still be people that will doubt you. There are people that would, not believe in you. I'm giving this as a basis so that you understand how to even, interact. So these 12, what would have happened in this 12 is that occasionally some of the people in the 12 will move into your intimate circle. Some people in your intimate circle, at some point, as you progress, will move out of your intimate circle into your personal circle. That's just the order of life. In fact, in the personal circle, usually between 10 to 12, it's not as if they are your friends, they are your personal person, like my personal person. But in that circle, you begin to hear things like, you have started growing wings. You see, When they start telling you that you started growing wings, you see, the people that understand you are the ones that know you the most. Is a sign that it's time for you to fly. You see, when your friends cannot relate with you at the level and they feel that you started to grow wings, they've identified something that you cannot even easily discern. So, recommendation, it's time to fly. And that means that because they've seen that you've invented. I'm not saying cut them away. What I'm just saying is that you now know the model. Some of them will now move to what you call the social level, the intimate space, the personal space, the social space. There's nothing wrong. They are your acquaintances and your friends. You celebrate them. In fact, when they call, you are gisting with them. But they're not people you now sit down as if you want to change life. Then there's a public circle. That one, once they reach 150, from about 75 to 50. All right. The social circle is from 12 to about 75. But from 75 to 50, that's public circle. Anything outside 150, that one is crowd. So don't all these people follow you on internet, whatever. Don't worry. By the time you cannot even count the number of 150, anyone outside of that is a crowd. But you can always replace people. Okay. So now that you have the basis for this, all right, let me go to how you can quickly, and I'll just run through this, how you can build your own network. Because people say things that your connection to the president now is just one person. It could even be two persons. Before it used to be six persons. Now it has reduced. Some people you need to connect with, they are just a click away. If only you understand this science. So how to build your network or your social capital, as I described it. Position yourself as the center of influence. You can't do that in isolation. People must see you as an authority of some sort. I'm saying I want to run through it so that because of time, know yourself, your passion, and your purpose. Now, for you to position yourself, you must know about yourself. So don't say that because somebody is doing a program, you also want, what are you doing? What are you going to be expressing? What are you going to be sharing? What do you want people to know you? That's what Venetia also said in her class. But how do you position yourself? Be very strategic. There's no need to start wasting time. My friend, if you're not your purpose driven, purpose centered, please just put them in the social. There's nothing wrong in having people in the social sector. You know that when it's time for party, felicitation, hanging out, going for picnics, if possible, going on trips, don't worry. These are my social circle. They don't fall into those. This is my purpose journey. Then always be positive. Always stay positive in that thing. Another thing is that you have to be very respectful. A lot of people are rude. We've turned rudeness to a way of life. It's like you think it's so cool to be rude. Hey, you would have missed it too. You would have missed it. Take it one step at a time. Don't rush. The thing that you want to, there's this song, Don't Rush. The thing you want to eat for 10 years, you don't start rushing it today. It's just like you're getting into a relationship. Maybe, and I don't know who I'm speaking to. You're a single lady. The guy says, no, he wants to take you to bed. Or do you understand what I'm saying? Somebody says he wants to marry you, and you can't delay, or you cannot even take it one step at a time. Even when you plant corn, it takes 3 months for corn to germinate. So I don't even know, not that I pity this current generation, but they just connect immediately, and the next thing, there was a time, if I was chiking a lady, that chike, for anybody that knows what, if I was trying to toast or approach a lady, or cajole a lady, back in those days, it wasn't a one-day approach. If you fall into that one-day category, you're almost like a fling. I'm sorry, I apologize, I repent for anybody that feels that, but I'm telling you the truth. But there are ways that there's a delay, of that gratification, that also enables you to honor and respect the person. So please don't see that somebody is. That's where a lot of people throw these things away. Someone got appointed today. You're already telling the person, please calm down, nurture. All right. So one step back. Then you must have some. Now we're advocating. You must have some online presence. I don't care who you are. You just must have your online presence. But there must be a strategy around it. Then keep in touch with former colleagues and your alumni. The world is not a village. Now, let me quote John D. Rockefeller. He said something, an American oil industrial business magnate and philanthropy. He said that a friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. I'm teaching you how to walk your net. A friendship founded on business. That means that, the way we're at this bootcamp now, that's what we're talking about. You can develop a friendship. But can you imagine if we're friends and I say, let's go and do bootcamp? You say, Taiwo, we've come again. Do you understand what I'm saying? You want to start a business. It's better we become friends by starting a business together than we are friends. We say, let's go and start a business together. That's what John D. Rockefeller came up to tell us. Now, why have I said that it's important to walk down your net? Is that your network determines your net worth. And there are some things, I can tell you, there are some things I don't pay for because of the way I've developed my network. So this lady that I saw, she dispatched that book. I'd never met her then until I just met her recently and we became best of friends. The lady I was telling you about, she dispatched that book. For those that are just joining us, I was just sharing this thing and I'm on now. She says, you won't believe it. I'm just sending you, look at the message she sent to me. That you won't believe this. I was just sending you a message when your voice note came in. Was going through my LinkedIn and saw that we connected last year. As in, how do you do these things? I need to be schooled. This is also an authority. She's the leadership guardian, my very good friend. Now, why did I bring this out? So that you also understand that you can connect with anybody at any level. And you must have an end in mind. An end in mind. Don't just connect for the sake of connecting. If you connect with people, sort it out and project. Because if you have a plan already, you will know where that connection fits in or where it will be relevant. So that you don't waste all your arsenals. Some people immediately they start to no. There are some people that are not needed for now, but nurture. In fact, the people that are not needed for now are the best set of people to nurture. So that when they'll see the consistency. And I think Jimmy, you guys were here when Jimmy said something. He said, do you know that the associate or the person you make a friend, you don't need to bribe. And he made an instance at some point that we have become so close. How do we connected on purpose? But if I need him to do something, I say, Prof, please, can you show? He will show. If he needs me to do something, if I'm available, or I would reschedule or do something around it, and I'll be available. That's how to do it. Well, do you know that some people will pay? I'm telling you, some people have paid. Some people keep paying. It's network. It's exchange. What are you exchanging? Because there are three exchanges. Time, is that you exchange your time, your talent, or your treasure. But it will be foolish for you to exchange all three because you want one thing. Be wise now. So if you don't have treasure, which is money, or you don't want to be paying money, you want to be using your money for that good things, then invest your talent or invest your time. And you must nurture every relationship at every level. Whether it's a dating relationship where you want to get married, you want to do business, you want to do anything, nurture the relationship. Guys, I don't want to take you, in fact, I've taken you beyond normal. This has never happened before. I apologize, but I need this to sink in. Understand the posimetrics. You can go and Google it, but I've given you the master's model. Just use that simple model. Go and sort. It's the doing that gets the job done. And you start to see deliberate changes in your life as to how you connect and relate with people. I believe that you've been blessed, and I can just say this thing will change the paradigm for you so that people even ask you, how do you do it? So I shared with you, somebody was asking me that, how do you do it? Because the person has observed now that I've connected with some people I did not know last year, and I now know them this year. How? I was intentional and deliberate about it. So I ask that you commit yourself to the order of God and ask that it will go you inside, show you things to come, and bring all things to your remembrance. That you connect with your helpers because they are there. You've even connected with them, and that they will also locate you. You also don't, maybe you've misbehaved at the table and then they've left you. So you go and reconnect with them. Go forward right now and make great use of this and bear fruits. Bear fruits in terms of connections, in terms of money, in terms of relationship, and all kinds of things. And you'll be rest assured that the things that money cannot buy can be delivered through your social network. All right, guys. I need to go now, and I commit you to God and ask that today is one of the best days you've ever experienced, and all things will work together for your good. Thank you all, and have a beautiful morning and a beautiful day. See you later this evening. We have our personal finance advisor, so don't miss it. Jesus had a personal finance person. All right. So you also, who are you? Come on, get one in your discipleship sector, and have a beautiful day. I love you all, and may the peace of the Lord continue to be with you all. Bye.